Hi guys, welcome back to Mr. Mechanical. So in the last video I left you with a bit of a cliffhanger. I was assembling this frame and it fell off the easel. I should have probably had someone helping us, but obviously COVID restrictions means I can't have anybody around, and at the moment my wife's got the duties of looking after our 10-week-old son when I'm in the shed, on the rare opportunities I get to do that. So I just didn't have the hands, and as you saw, everything fell off the easel. Well, fortunately it didn't cause any damage. As you can see, I got everything together. This is now after all the recording's done and the project or the assembly is finished. So in this video you're going to see me complete this job, get the electrics done, and you'll see me home the machine to its home position. And now I'm about to start recording the next video, where I'm going to be making my first cut, surfacing the wasteboard, and maybe do some decorative engraving on a bit of wood. So we'll see how it works out, and I hope you enjoy part 2 of this build project. It's the first half of the video I did on Monday. It's now Saturday, and before I put the camera on today, I've just done a few pieces which would have been difficult to film, because I've put the bar right across the top here, and the bar across the bottom, which is the other two edges of the overall frame. The gantry's all together now, so the next thing I need to do is, there's up in that top corner there's a stepper motor to go on, and then up in this top corner there's another stepper motor to go on, which is going to be my y-axis. So I'll do that, and then we've got the beams to put in, or the sections put in, that run vertically up here, which support the wasteboard. So that'll be the next thing to do once we've got them motors on. I'll try and video as much as I can fitting the motors, but it's going to be right up the top there, so I don't know how much you'll be able to see. So I might edit it out, or just put it in. The motor's now on at the top. You saw me do that on this side, and I just repeated the same process for the other side. I've now got the bearing bars, the extrusions laid out, not in the final position, but I've just got them up on the easel, ready to be put in place. And I've put some T-nuts in this bottom extrusion and in the extrusion at the top. So next thing to do is to fix these in place, which again it's made harder with the setup I've gone with it sort of sitting upright, because I now need to get these fixed in position, and I need to get in behind these to fix them down. There's some angle brackets which sit on the T-slot on the back face, and then these will then sit forward flush with the top. So getting in behind there to fix these in is going to be difficult. I might have a think about how I do that. It may be that I can assemble the brackets onto these, then put them in position and screw them into the T-nuts that I've already put in, or I might need to take the T-nuts out, assemble it all together with the T-nuts on, and try and feed it in from the ends, because I've still got access to that, and then just tighten it up once they're in position. So I'll do that now. We're nearly there. Once we've got these in, then it's on to doing the electrics. I don't think there's any more hardware to go together. Obviously, apart from putting the the router itself onto here. Right, I'm going to start putting these on again. You might not get great views, but I'll speed it up so it's not too boring. So as you can see, I've got these bars on now for supporting the spoiler board. So the next thing I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to fix this frame down to the wooden frame behind, so they become one piece. And then after that, I'm going to fit the spoiler board, and then we're onto the electrics. Okay, so the frame is now fixed to the easel, so that's pretty solid now. What I'm going to do now is put the waste boards on. I've got two sheets of 1220 by 610 by 12 mil MDF, which the thickness 12 mil. Ooznest recommend that thickness. They do recommend a full sheet, but I haven't been able to get hold of one in time. So when I can find someone that can sell us a full sheet to cover this area, I'll probably swap to one sheet, and I might even go up to 18 mil thick just to get a bit more time out of it. What I've done is I've measured the centre vertically, then I've measured to the bottom edge of my MDF sheet, and I've put these quick clamps on that line. So all I should need to do is just put my MDF on there. That'll hold it at the right spot. Then I can mark some centres for tying in with the T-slots on the extrusion, and then I can drill it. We'll get it fixed down. Once the first one's on, I can put the second one on top, and it'll sit on the top edge of the first one, so it should make it a bit easier. Okay, so now I've got the waste board on. So the next thing to do is to put the router clamp onto the machine. So we'll do that now. It's going to go on here, obviously, to hold the router to the machine. So this is the main clamping part. So there's a few parts to this, so I'll just take you through it. So we get a few parts in this kit for the router mounting bracket. We've got the clamp, as I say. You've got this then backing plate, which has a slot up the middle for this to sit into. So they'll be the first parts that go together. They're machined quite nicely, actually, could fit. So that'll bolt onto there. And then the last item we've got is this height setting tool, and the idea of this is you fix it under there just to set the height of this. I don't know whether that stays on permanently, I don't think it does, but it's to basically sit this on top just as a reference for the height, so you don't have to measure it, and it'll go there. So I'll get these parts put together and we'll get it on the machine. Okay, so those two parts are bolted together now with the 3 cap-head bolts in the top of there, which go through into this plate. The next thing to do is there's 8 screws and T-nuts to go onto this, so I'll do that. Okay, so that's all the T-nuts and screws in that part now. So the next thing is to do the same with this, just put 2 screws in it with the T-nuts, and then that can go on there first. So we can now fix that first onto here. I haven't fully talked to them because it does say in the instructions that that is coming back off, so they're not torqued up, they're just tight, so it's not going to move. And the next thing we can do is now put this on. It says to put it on so that the threaded holes you can see in that face there is facing down. So get all those T-nuts lined up. And a bit of downward pressure to keep it on that spacer. So the clamp's on now. So next thing it says to do is to fit the router. I went with this one, which is a Katsu router. It's the cheapest option when you're ordering the Ooznest Workbee. So we'll get that fitted now. And it says to install this with the collet flush with the bottom of the x-axis. So we'll slide it in. And we've got an M8 cap head screw which is going to go in there to clamp it. Okay, so there's the router mounted, and it feels pretty solid. So the router's fitted now. So that's all the mechanical work, the hardware fitted. So we're onto the electrics now, and the first thing we have to do is fit the drag chain that runs down this side for the y-axis. So I'll do that now. I'm going to start off by fixing the fixed end up at that top left hand corner. And then there'll be obviously a moving end to fix to the gantry, and then there'll be some loose drag chain that will fall down below the gantry on this side, and then after that there's another drag chain which will sit across the back of here. I mentioned earlier that there's a bit of extrusion in the back of here, which when it's lying down, I'm guessing that's what the drag chain sits on. Not sure how it's going to work in this orientation, and I might have to come up with some way of keeping it sat where it needs to be. So we'll get on with that now. Okay, so this is the drag chain I was talking about. I've fed the wires through. So we've got a power cable, and we've got two cables for stepper motors on the y-axis, and we've got a limit switch with pulled through as well. This opens up, you can flick open them tabs on the top down there to get the wires in. So all I need to do now is to fix each end to the machine, and then we've got another chain to put together for the x-axis. Okay, so I've got the drag chains on one on the x-axis and one on the y-axis behind us down this side. So the next thing to do is to fit the limit switches, so you can see it there, and this is the one for the x-axis first, so I'll get that one fitted. Okay, so I've now got all the limit switches fitted, x-axis, y-axis up top left, got a y-axis down the bottom on the gantry, and the z-axis which is in underneath the z-axis extrusion, which was extremely difficult to get to. Even my smallest Allen key wouldn't fit in there, so that took me a while. So let's have a look, see what the next thing is to do. Okay, so now I'm just going to be routing some cables, so I won't show you that, and I'll bring you back when something exciting is happening. Okay, so I've now got all the cables ran, and they all converge at this point here, which is where the control board's going to be on this bit of acrylic. I haven't fixed that down yet, but that's where it goes, roughly in this area. So now we're on to fitting the control board, which is it's called a Duet. I think it's a Duet 2, and I've gone for the wireless. Yeah, it's a Duet 2, and it's a Wi-Fi version. There it is. Comes with an SD card. Let's have a look. Comes with an 8 gig SD card from Ooznest, and I believe this fixes onto here, and it's held onto the perspex, or the acrylic, with 4 M4 by 20 screws. We've got a little nylon spacer, and then in through there, and a nylock nut on the back. So there's the antenna fixed in position. So now we need to fix the board to the machine. Okay, so now we can fix the board down to the extrusion on the back of the gantry. Okay, so that's fixed in position now, just with some N5 screws with spacers in behind. So what we want to do now is connect the power to the machine, which are going to go into these 2 terminals here on this far side. So the power cable is here. So the power's connected up now. The next thing to do will be to connect up all these cables, so I'll just get up the one I'm looking for. So first of all, we want the limit switch, which is black and marked 0, which is this one. Okay, so that's all assembled now. I think in the future what we'll do is 3D print some sort of enclosure, because everything is exposed and there is going to be dust created obviously by the router, so that'll be something to do in the future, is to 3D print a sealed enclosure that carries the fans but keeps it all concealed, allowing for the aerial as well. Okay, so now I've got everything's together. I've got a USB cable to the laptop, and we've installed or updated the driver on the board. We're in the process of installing some software here. I'm just going through the instructions on their website. So we're using a software called YAT, or an app. Okay, so now we're working through the steps for connecting it to the Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to put the power on now on the CNC machine and see if we can get it to work. I've got everything sorted out on the computer. I've got the router connected to the Wi-Fi now, so I should be able to control it through a web-based controller. So I'm just going to power it on now and see if we can connect to it. So I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but this is it's telling me here that the end stops, the sensors not triggered, not triggered, not triggered. So I'm going to touch the Y one just to see if that shows up. Okay, so all my limit switches are working, which is good, because now I'm going to home it. So that works. I don't know if you saw that, but the Z homed, which is good. Now I'm going to do the X. Okay, so now is the moment of truth. See how it travels uphill. It's the Y one. So it works. There it is, it's formed, it's right up at the top corner.